Hello YouTube, insanj here. As you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be showing you a bunch of really nice tricks in pretty much the basics of Final Cut Pro in case you're new to the program or want to know a lot of the basic things that you might not have learned if you taught yourself how to use it or if you took tutorials that weren't very in-depth. So first, I have this folder that I called Final Cut Tutorial, and here are all the files that I want. Now, I have the raw files that my camera takes, which are all .tods, which is a MPEG stream file. It's confusing. I don't really know why the camera takes that, but I converted it using a free program for Mac called MPEG Stream Clip, and I converted them into .mpegs and .affs. Now, a lot of you might run into this problem where you have these raw MPEGs in the audio plays when you play them in QuickTime Player, but when you import them, no audio is in Final Cut Pro. Now, this is a common problem, but all you really need to do to fix it is also export the audio, which only normally takes a couple seconds unless you have hours of footage. So I also have Northern Whale, which is my outro song by The Good, the Bad, and the Queen. If you haven't heard it, then just stay tuned to the end of the video. And I also have this movie called Strange Charm, which is a small music video that I downloaded from YouTube by Hank Green of the Vlog Brothers. Now, I have this on here not because I want to put it in the video, but because I want the audio of it during some of my video footage. Now, just to open up by using this preview function on Mac, right now I have footage of a rabbit that I looked after for last weekend, and here's footage from a hibachi, no, that's the rabbit again, and here's some footage I took while I was at a hibachi restaurant a little while ago. Now, both of these are actually very different videos because of their length and the quality of the actual video. Now, what I'm going to do first before I start actually importing all of those is make a new project so that I have something to save onto, and I'll save project as Final Cut Tutorial. There we go. And now I'm going to go up to this drop down and import files. And now I'm going to press Command and highlight both of those because they're in the same directory. Go into converted files and hold down Shift as I highlight all of those. Now I have all these files. Now you might be wondering why my browser looks so weird. That's just because I went into Windows, Arrange, and then 2-up. And that's what gave me this. But as you see, that's kind of a big stretch, so I made it different. Now right here I like to go fit all, and here I like to go fit to window, but there's nothing right now on this strip. Now if I were to drag my first clip right here into the audio frame, everything would be perfect. But once I drag in the video, a bunch of problems start to happen. First of all, they didn't superimpose over each other, which is an easily fixable problem I'll show you with the hibachi clips. Also, they're not linked even though they're the same audio, so go into modify and then link, hold on, I gotta highlight them, modify and then link, and then whenever I move one, the other will move as well. And also, if you don't notice already, the proportions are way wrong. So what I always do, just for my specific case, having such high quality video, I go into settings, in sequence settings, and then I set it to the correct, what would that be? Proportions. Now, for every video, it'll be different, depending on the quality in the camera. But for that, that's what's going on. I misspelled sequence, whatever. So, I kind of misspelled my sequence and whatever, but it doesn't matter. So, I fit all, and you'll see that looks horrible. So, what I go is I double-click into that, go into motion, make it 100%, and then this weird thing happens where I have to distort it to 33% to get it to work out. So little things like that might happen with your camera. Just experiment with it and it shouldn't take too long. Now you might notice this red bar up here. That means this footage is unrendered. So right now I can't really edit that, so I'm going to render that once I'm done explaining the hibachi footage. So once I'm done editing that, I'll be able to dive right into editing. But for now, let's go on and take these two clips. Now instead of taking them and dragging them right on, and have the same superimpose problem, I'm going to drag them onto my little canvas and drag them over superimpose, which will put them in the second bar over each other. Now I can just highlight them and go into link. Now this clip was only about 45 seconds long, but if I were to expand this, you can see that one is well over about an hour, which is quite ridiculous. So instead of rendering through all of that, which will take hours to render, I'm going to double click it. Then I'm going to go over into, I believe, modify, change speed, and now I'm going to make it much, much faster. Alright, so it ended up it was only 20 minutes, but either way, I changed it so that it was 500%, which is pretty fast, but we can make things look right in the editing process. Now, while we're here before rendering, I'm going to drag in Strange Charm, which is a .mov, which if you haven't heard yet, I absolutely love the song, but I can't play it because it's a .mov. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click onto that. And since it's such a weird, proportion and whatnot, I don't really want the video in there at all. So I'm going to make sure it's selected, undo link, delete the video frame, and then right there I have the audio. Now I'm going to take the audio, and if I just highlight that singly and press render, it'll render through. Now why I'm doing this in front of you is just so that you realize that Final Cut Pro understandably likes video a lot more. Now admittedly video has a way more data, so saying that's kind of biased. Either way, audio takes way less time to render. So if I play through the first couple seconds, if my little bar will get there. Hold on. So we have that audio right there that's playing, and it looks fine, and it's playing at a pretty nice speed, but I want to up the volume a little bit, and now that's perfect. I can overlay that over the bunny track once I'm ready for that. Now I also want to drag Northern Whale in, but I don't want the whole song, I only want a couple seconds. And right there, I want to cut it at a somewhat even spot, and I can take care of that. Now, I can get further into specific of editing that once this whole strip is done, but right now I got to render through everything, so I'll see you after the break. Alright, now I should let you know before we get started, if you were looking at that clock up there, it actually changed quite drastically because this is filmed like a week after I filmed the first part, so excuse any minor changes that happen in any of the editing or whatever. Alright, so now that all that's done rendering, I can start actually editing things. So if we take a look at the bunny clip right now, just going through it, you'll see that there isn't very much good audio quality there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that up to the second track and double click on it, go into stereo, and I'm going to lower the volume. You set it negative if you want it to go down if you're editing the numbers. And then I can drag in Strange Charm, which is just an audio track. I'll get that out of the way for now. And now when I zoom in, things look nice. But since Strange Charm's pretty long, we're going to do a little technique right there. It's not actually a technique, but we're just going to work on things a little bit right there, just so that things look a lot better and sound a lot better. We can also add a nice crossfade so that things zoom in until then, and then they'll zoom out until then, and let's take a look at it.
Quark is a fundamental constituent of matter, observed in 1968 through deep elastic scattering. We found that protons aren't as simple as we thought. We thought they were solid particles, but they are not. Protons, in fact, are made up of 3 separate pieces. It just gets more confusing as our knowledge increases, but that is what a quark is. It's a piece of a proton, and they also make up other things, including the new...
Alright, so far that video looks pretty nice. Now, of course, when we edit this video, we want it to look a lot better than that. So we can edit some basic settings just by going into the filters category once I get a nice freeze frame. So now that we're in the filters category, we can go into filters. And a lot of things I like to do are pretty simple things that you see a lot in videos when you don't even notice it. So go into image control. I like using brightness and contrast filters. I also like going into glow. And I like popping one of them in. It doesn't really matter which one. And then once I'm done with all that, I like going into, stylize. And sometimes I add noise, which I've reviewed before, but I'm going to add a vignette. And that bunny track, as you see, looks a lot different than how it did before. And we can go into our filters tab up here to take different looks at it. So I kind of want a little bit brighter than that. There we go. That's looking good. We can go into contrast, and then we can just up all these bars. Now, a lot of the things with bars in Final Cut Pro is that you just need to experiment with them to get exactly what you want. So just frequently go in when you want a different effect on a video and play with things. Glow's a nice effect, but the problem with it is that, as you see, it's not really affecting the bunny, it's affecting the background. But in this case, we're just showing some basic things. The lower the threshold is, the more area it's going to cover, the more threshold it's going to cover. In general, so you might want to watch out and not make a mistake where you think it's the opposite way around. And then let's lower the vignette. We don't want this to be like a dream scene or anything. Let's play some of the hibachi footage. Alright, so as you can see, that footage is pretty crazy, so we probably want to cut out some parts. So I'm going to cut out some in the beginning, some right there, and we can take those and delete them, drag them in here, and now we're going to add some really funky effects to this video. So now let's say you just want to take the volume, and the volume's definitely too loud, so you want the volume to be going down. Onto there again. And now you want, when you transition into that filter, to have it fade in. So go into your filters, video transitions, dissolve, cross dissolve, and add that to the beginning. Now let's go and let's take a look at some of these other effects. We can add a lot of really nice things in here. I'm showing this just in case you like the look of this while I'm going through. And we can take a lot of these effects and apply them right away if we wanted to. So, as you see, I made a bunch of basic edits, and I can't really do that much else. So I'm going to drag in this ending track, and we're going to want to piece this together. Now, the further you zoom in Final Cut Pro, the more editing abilities you have when you actually drag over things. Also, if you didn't know, when I end my videos, I always have the fade in of Northern Whale happen until the last second when my video cuts out. Alright, so now we can expand that to take up all that space and delete the ending one. And there we go, now we have Northern Whale pieced in. So we have the ending fine, but let's say we want to make some really cool intro to this video along with the ending. So we can actually do something that I don't know if it's available in other Final Cut versions like Final Cut Express. But if you go into master templates, these are things you can download, but these come free. You can check out these things called lower thirds, and these allow you to have title sequences in your videos. So if you drag that right above the video clip, and I'm actually going to cut it right there because I don't want it to be too long. It'll give you that nice little effect that you sometimes see in other areas of video making. So I'm going to scale it to 100%. There we go. And now let's see. We actually don't need it to be that big. And coming right out of the corner right there, we're going to have it say stuff. So we can go into here and go hibachi. I'm probably not spelling that right, so let's just say dinner is served. And then subtitle, watch out for flying rice. And then if we were to just skip through this without rendering it, you could see that the effects slowly come in. Oh, and by the way, something important that you should know, when you render things with a lot of effects, as in all that vignette stuff, it takes a lot longer than if you just cut it or added audio to it. So keep that in mind. So if I want to just render this selection and not any of the other tabs I have open here, or if I just want to render the audio, you can actually go up to sequence, render selection, render all, render only, and then I can go down and select what I want. So I'm just going to render my selection, and you'll see it'll probably take from a half an hour to an hour to render. Once that's done, I'm going to show you how to export it and then play that video out for you, and hopefully you guys will like it. If you want to download this project, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll upload the project and some of the necessary files into the description bar of this video. Alright, so I realize that the video is not completely done rendering, but let's say it was done rendering just because, as you see, I'm kind of cut for time in uploading this video. What you would do is you would go and once you were done everything, I like going to my tab and selecting the sequence that I misspelled, and then I go into export, use QuickTime Conversion, go into your options and change these to what your video is like. And go into size, and that's definitely not the size of the video. This video is even higher than normal HD. So you'd select what you want. This is normally the normal HD quality, or you can select things depending on your DV camera. You can also preserve aspect ratio, but I don't actually have to do that for my videos if you have these functions on what you recorded. That's pretty much it. As you see, this video is way too long, way longer than I wanted it to be. So hopefully a lot of you guys like this video. For a while, I'm probably going to stay off of Final Cut Pro since these videos do take a while to make, and I don't think that many people really want to see them. Also, I'm sorry that the giveaway video didn't come up today. That is, as you see right here, just a sneak peek. Look at all these different files and all that stuff. Like here is the actual thing. Look, it's alright. That's enough of that. But as you can see, that takes a while to make, and I didn't really have enough time. So I'm going to stop complaining, and I hope you guys at least watched to this point if you could, and I will see you in 2 days. See ya.